Have you used the Spotify DJ yet? There's a Spotify AI DJ
Then
that
no.
curates your own.
I mean, I all I listen to is like Spotify. Like
The
feels like Spotify ad. I listen to like my day lists, and it's like at different times of the day. It'll be like moody morning, or it'll be like witchy Wednesday. Here's some witchy music for Farah on a Wednesday, and I'm like, thank you so much. That's actually what I needed.
How did you know? How did you know I was feeling a bit witchy?
And then sometimes it'd be like 80s power ballad Saturday, and I'm like, yeah, that is what it is.
They have this like other thing on there, which is like an AI generated DJ. He talks a bit like, oh God, I can't do my commercial voice at the moment. But you know when you, like a commercial radio voice. And now coming right up is your favorite track of last week.
Isn't that so funny? Like we moved away from radio, so we stopped hearing people talk in between songs. And now we're like artificially putting that back in.
Hello everyone. Today on Culture Bites, we're going to be speaking about the 50 most influential Arabic novels of the 21st century.
And what Abu Dhabi is doing to attract major Hollywood productions.
This is Culture Bites. I'm Enas and Farah, coming to you from the National News.
And I'm Farah Andrews.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm really well.
It's been first of all, let's talk about a few things. For anyone watching.
Yeah.
We're coordinated.
We're kind of coordinated today.
We are. I like it.
Got the memo.
I feel like we've come. It's a uniform. It's a Culture Bites uniform.
It's a Culture Bites. It's a Culture Bites day. We've also got the same. I mean, we won't mention the fact that my pedicure matches your manicure. It's getting a bit too much for us.
I also did have that pedicure until I went too big on a bouncy castle and it rubbed it off.
So much fun. I feel like the weeks are going really fast. There's been so much going on. I've seen that you've been at the Culture Summit.
It's been so busy. Yes, so it was the Culture Summit at the beginning of this week. It was brilliant. A lot of our colleagues were there talking, myself included, and having some really interesting conversations about this year. It was quite future focused and kind of like looking forward. My panel was about AI and creativity and kind of where there is like the space for creativity with AI. It was really interesting. One of the speakers was from the Dubai Future Foundation, so they obviously had incredible insights into kind of the world of AI, but also like very cautious, which it really interested me. There was somebody from Spotify who kind of spoke to everything that kind of Spotify does with AI.
Yes.
But also how important it is still to have humans. Like he spoke a lot about the fact that Spotify's playlists are actually a lot of the time curated by humans.
I love
like
that.
There is algorithm, but there is also human. He said something so good. It was that there's only so much AI can do. Like AI can't go into a club and see how people are responding, and I was like, yeah, this is
I keep thinking this with my kids. I'm like, okay, you guys need to get really good at sport, because like you're always going to want to watch football and tennis and these things by humans, right?
Oh, so is that how you're AI combating?
Yeah, I'm AI. I'm already thinking ahead. I like that though. Have you used the Spotify DJ yet? There's a Spotify AI DJ that curates your own.
I mean, I all I listen to is like Spotify. Like feels like Spotify ad. I listen to like my day lists, and it's like at different times of the day. It'll be like moody morning, or it'll be like witchy Wednesday. Here's some witchy music for Farah on a Wednesday, and I'm like, thank you so much. That's actually what I needed.
How did you know I was feeling a bit witchy?
And then sometimes it'd be like 80s power ballad Saturday, and I'm like, yeah, that is what it is.
They have this like other thing on there, which is like an AI generated DJ. He talks a bit like, oh God, I can't do my commercial voice at the moment. But you know when you, like a commercial radio voice. And now coming right up is your favorite track of last week.
Isn't that so funny? Like we moved away from radio, so we stopped hearing people talk in between songs. And now we're like artificially putting that back in.
Yes. Basically.
And it's like the same way as like, this is a whole other conversation, but the way like Netflix is basically moving to like
terrestrial TV.
A terrestrial TV model.
Yeah, I know. They're going to have ad breaks.
Live programming. And we're doing week by week programming. We're no longer on a binge model.
Wait a second.
Did we have it right?
Wait a second. Are we just rebranding the olden days? Yes, we are. And talking of rebranding of the olden days.
When you said over the olden days, I was like, no, this one's not the olden days.
This is not the olden days, but it's going back to reading.
Oh, I mean that, yeah.
Yeah. And reading is like, it's something that actually has never gone away. You remember they said radio was going to kill, like, it was going to
Video
kill
killed the
reading.
radio star?
Or
Is that
like
what you
then.
were gonna say? My friend's dad wrote the song.
No. Stop. Okay.
Friends loose. I went to school with him. We'll talk later.
Yes. So anyway, reading never really quite went away, even though video was created. And reading novels. Do you want to tell us more about this extensive list that the National has curated now as part of a celebration of Arabic culture?
Yeah, so the arts team, are always doing phenomenal work. They're extremely busy at the moment because there's just so much happening. But one of the things that's happening at the moment is the Abu Dhabi Book Fair, and that is a annual celebration of all things literary, fiction and non-fiction. And last year we pulled together the 50 most important works of the 20th century. And so we're back with a sequel, like all good books. And we've now got our list of the 21st century. And so the team have worked with the Abu Dhabi Language Centre and kind of looked at some of the most influential writers and novels that have been published in this century. We are now 25 years into this century, so
wow.
Obviously this is probably something that we're going to revisit many, many times. But
maybe when we're not even here.
Wow. No. The criteria is that the books had to initially be published in Arabic, and they span the Arab world. So we have got books from across the world that have been written primarily in Arabic.
Great. So one of my favourite novels that's actually is on the list was also something that I recommended for a book club that I was part of when I first came to Abu Dhabi, which is the Yacoubian building by Alaa Aswany. And it's based in Cairo, which I'm really excited about because we know I'm going to Cairo soon. And it's
you should reread it on your way to Cairo.
I think I might. It's a really good book. It's set in 1990, and it's this once luxurious building in downtown Cairo, which has all these different people living in with different like standard of living and like different stories, and how it's all intertwined in this Yacoubian building. It's really fun and very colourful novel. It's been made into a film which you can watch on YouTube in full, and it has got English subtitles as well.
Oh, okay.
So it's quite a famous film with Adil Imam, who's a big Egyptian actor, who plays one of the central characters. It's been translated. So this book, I'm really happy it made the list that we curated, because it's one of those books which I think has kind of exported a slice of Egypt into so many places. It's been translated into 30 different languages.
Wow.
Which is incredible. And I think it's just like a really, really, really fun book. So if you're going to pick up something from there, and it was one of those books that I recommended. I used to go to, oh God, I'm going to say it. It was quite a fancy book club in Abu Dhabi. Like all the women at this book club were quite fancy. I probably didn't feel like I fit in very well, but
you would have fit in.
I don't know. They were quite fancy. And the end of that year, when we all spoke about what our favourite books were, a few of them mentioned the Yacoubian building as being their most favouritist book. And I was just really like happy that I'd given a slice of Arab culture, because most of actually all of the women part of this book club, none of them had Middle Eastern roots. And so they hadn't actually, deep dived into a novel set in an Arabic town and about these like different religions. You have like a Jewish character, a Christian character, a Muslim character. You have somebody who's rich, somebody who's poor. You have the dynamics of like mother and daughter. You have the dynamics of brothers. Like everything is just kind of like squished together. It's really fun.
That's something, I want to talk more about some of the different books and writers that we have on the list, but that's something I want to talk about because, so this list is, what I hope kind of comes out of it is that people are able to use it as a sort of springboard. There'll be so many people that have grown up in this region or are Arabic or from the MENA region, and they will be so familiar with so many of the books, like yourself. They'll see it and they'll go, oh, that's something that I love when I was younger, or something that I have come back to so many times. But I also hope that there'll be readers more like myself who have not read anywhere near enough literature that was initially written in Arabic, and that they can kind of like use this as a bit of an entryway into the books that they should start reading. And that's really what I hope people get from it.
Yeah, I started curating my reading list from the last list you made.
Okay.
From the last century. And I bought some books, actually. One was by one of the Jordanian writers. And then I was reminded, this is the other thing, is you're reminded of stories that you read a long time ago.
Yeah.
So Tayyib Saleh's famous novel, Migrations to the South, I think it's called, was one of those books that I read when I was at university. And I just thought it was so beautiful and warm and like plucked all your heartstrings. And just to see it mentioned again in writing was just really lovely.
The list I keep coming back to, which is this is a digression, but the list of books coming out this year, I literally check it every month.
Okay.
To kind of be like, what am I reading? What am I reading? And Dream Hotel is my next on that list. But anyway,
which book are you looking forward to?
The book I wanted to talk about was A Mask, The Colour of the Sky by Palestinian writer Basim Khandaqji. Khandaqji?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't read it. Khandaqji. Unless it's written in Arabic, I can't read it.
It's tricky. But we've spoken about this author quite a few times because he is currently in prison.
Yes.
And he won a literary prize here last year. This book was written in 2023, so it's kind of one of the newer pieces from this century. He was named winner of the 2024 International Prize for Arabic fiction for this book, the IPAF, which we have just had announced for this year. And yeah, he was born in Palestine in 1983, but he has been in an Israeli prison since 2004. So this book was written from prison. He has been sentenced to 3 life sentences and convicted of terrorism charges. But he has carried on writing while in prison. And his brother does a lot of talking for him. But this book is about a character called Noor, a Palestinian archaeologist residing in Ramallah, and she finds a identity card belonging to an Israeli citizen and takes on the life of the namesake on the identity card.
That is, I think we've spoken about this before, but like that is such a kind of like an interesting thought experiment within itself.
Yeah.
Which I would love to read. So I'm going to put that on my list as well. Thank you.
No, you are welcome.
I'm going to talk about a book now that's also on the list that has actually been on my list since I lived in London. I went to go and see a talk about this book, which is Frankenstein in Baghdad, which is an Ahmed Saadawi book. It's a twist on the Mary Shelley's very famous Frankenstein, but this time is set in post-US invasion in Iraq. It follows Hadi, a junk dealer who stitches together body parts of bomb victims to create a complete corpse that can receive a burial. Now, obviously very dark, as is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. It's a very dark book. But it was a real kind of like bringing in this kind of dystopian sci-fi world into modern day, and like what's felt really real when it came out, which was in 2013, which is that we're still in the post-US Iraq invasion era, and this book is definitely discussing that with the reference to Frankenstein and what that means, and actually how it dehumanized a lot of ordinary people. It's interesting, actually, this week we've had a lot of interest in a very old article that The National put up about Abu Ghraib prison. So I think like the conversation over Iraq and what happened in Iraq is still so at the front of people's minds. Like it's actually one of those ones that we were like looking at the stats in a meeting and we were like, wait, why is this? And it's got a really high like look through rate at the moment. So we were like, okay, so people are interested. We don't know why. It might have just been sparked by something online, but it's really interesting how much that time is being kind of like analysed more now. Like what did that actually mean? What did those images mean? What did everything mean that was coming out of Iraq at that point? And how has it affected people? How has it affected people, my generation, older generation, and how are young people learning about that happened as well? So this book has been on my list for so long. It's also translated as well into English. So if you're interested in it, you can purchase this book in English. He was the first Iraqi as well to win the International Prize for Arabic Fiction in 2015 because of it. So it's
the iPath keeps coming up.
yeah. It's a dark satire as well. So I'm hoping it won't be like, I mean, I kind of find dark satire quite amusing when I'm reading it. Maybe not when I'm watching it, like Black Mirror, but like I find it quite fun. But anyway, that's the last of my recommendations on the list.
I wanted to flag one more.
Go.
A book called That Other Me by Maha Gargash. She is an Emirati.
Very famous name.
It's her second novel. It's set in mid-90s in Dubai and Cairo and focuses on secrets and betrayals consume a very prominent Emirati family. And there's kind of a lot of like the family dynamics in it. I have not read that book, but it is a book that I would absolutely love to read. And she is from Dubai. She first told stories for a camera, and then moved into writing. She's worked in TV and radio.
She's one of us.
Should I be doing more of this?
Maybe Maha should come on the show. Or what about, I'm looking at my producer, what about if we did like a little book club podcast?
Hey, we've spoken about a book club before. I think we could have a book club. We could have a little
book club episodes. Eps.
If there's interest, speak to us.
Yeah, if you are interested in that idea that I randomly came up with, but Farah's actually been thinking about and talking about for a really long time.
We have spoken about it.
Have we?
Yeah.
God, I have honestly a goldfish memory.
I remember talking about it in the old booth. We are now talking movies. Hollywood.
Well, no Abu Dhabi would.
Oh, what would it be?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Why not?
Abu Dhabi would? I don't like it that much.
But we have Bollywood, Nollywood.
We have Dollywood. Never forget Dollywood.
Arab? No, I don't think.
We'll have a think.
We'll have a think and come back to you.
So Abu Dhabi is very much positioning itself as a very, very, very attractive place for international films to come and produce and shoot their productions. Most recently, the Now You See Me sequel, which is called Now You See Me, Now You Don't, has wrapped here in Abu Dhabi. It was filming in April. Have you watched the Now You See Me films? Okay, that's okay.
I whispered that.
She did, but it's time for me to also say no. I know.
I will now. Now I know that I'm going to recognise places around Abu Dhabi Dubs. I'm going to watch it.
This is the third in. Is that they're like heist films?
Oh, I love a heist film.
And I've maybe I have watched the first one. I do have terrible film memory. But they've starred Jesse Eisenberg. He's the.
I like him.
Yeah,
I interviewed him once.
Did you? So this film stars Jessie, along with Woody Harrelson, Rosamund Pike, I like her, and Morgan Freeman.
Fabulous cast.
What's exciting is that there are going to be a lot of places here in Abu Dhabi that we can see in the film.
Love that.
It is going to feature many of the Emirates' famed sites, including the Louvre Abu Dhabi, the Sheikh Zayed Bridge.
Boom.
We're out there in the Liwa Desert.
Boom.
I think they also go to Ferrari World and Yas Marina Circuit.
Fabulous.
That's just across the road from our office. When I read things like this, I think to myself, I was here. What was I up to when Rosamund Pike was just across the road? And why wasn't I down there with Rosamund Pike? Because I do think we'd get on.
Yeah, you're just like, I could have invited her out.
Why?
We could have gone for a little drink.
Yeah.
On the Yas Bay.
So,
a ramen.
I do love it.
The ramen on Yas Bay, I mean, we're not getting endorsed enough.
Yeah, that's true.
We've already given Spotify.
Come sponsor to us. Come and sponsor us if you want us to talk about your ramen, because
it's
I will.
Great ramen,
and I will talk about it passionately.
Yeah. But it's really, I love this story because I love the fact that, I mean, Abu Dhabi is really smart of Abu Dhabi. Let's be frank here. It's really smart of Abu Dhabi to start giving grants, money to films to be made and produced here. It creates work here in the country. It opens up the arts and creative industries, which is exactly what we should be doing, which they are doing, which we are flourishing. And that's why we have Culture Bites. And isn't it amazing? We have the Culture Summit and everything because they're putting lots of money and interest and effort into the cultural scene here. But it's also like great advertising, right?
This is the thing.
They're a big country. So you look at, I mean, the Louvre in Abu Dhabi is probably one of, if not the most impressive building I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, it's incredible.
It's a stunning building.
But it's also like we can talk about Louvre Paris as being one of the most famous buildings in the world.
Iconic, yeah.
But so much of that is from the Da Vinci Code, and that is a film. Like, of course, we've all seen the Louvre, but not everybody has been to Paris. Not everyone has gone to the Louvre, even though, as I wrote in my travel newsletter last week, it is the most visited museum in the whole world every single year. Louvre Paris, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
But so much of that does come from pop culture.
It comes from pop culture. It comes from Jay-Z and Beyonce being there in a music video. It comes from the Da Vinci Code. It comes from like the iconic kind of glass pyramid.
I mean, that pyramid is
brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit taken, isn't it? But anyway, we're not going to go into that.
We should talk a little bit about the rebate scheme, which I do think
yes.
So this was launched 12 years ago by the Abu Dhabi Film Commission, but this year in January it was upped. So the subsidy on a film and television product in the Emirate has increased from a minimum of 30 to 35%.
That is huge.
Yeah.
So if you have a script, a film, an idea, just base it in Abu Dhabi. Base it in Abu Dhabi and see if you get funding.
Am I saying this, like, it kind of means that it's like up to 35% of the kind of costs for that film are going to be paid?
Yes.
And from my understanding of it is like, it's not a flat 35. It kind of does really, it's based on amount of the film that's shot here, hiring of regional creatives, etc., etc. So it's not just like a straight here's a check for 35%.
Exactly. I think the point about this is to help create an ecosystem. So if you have an Emirati actors, Emirati directors, or people that are just based here, so people who are based here for the editing, the post-production, all of these things will then become under the kind of like umbrella of we will assist you. And it means that, you know, Abu Dhabi now we have the Mesa area that's like out by the port. So we have lots of production houses opening up there, and a creative buzz is growing here.
Yeah.
I think it's huge as well. What they're offering compared to other countries is big bucks.
I realised I just made a mistake though.
What?
Because it's a minimum of 35%. So that is flat, and then it goes up to 50%. So that's a very generous.
It's very generous. It's really generous, and you need to remember as well, like the tax exemptions as well for film crews. Like these things are expensive. I've been in television for a long time. They are expensive, and
we're seeing how well it is resonating. Like so F1 was shot at. So F1's this up and coming Brad Pitt film that has been shot at F1. Many different F1s around the world. Long story short, Brad Pitt plays a driver for a fictional racing team.
He was out walking around,
and it does look like it's going to be pretty special. But it was shot very extensively at the F1 in Abu Dhabi last year. And what's amazing about that film is like we see, like when you're at the F1, and this is like going to be like my dumbest observation ever, but it goes fast. And so the actual F1 is happening. And then somehow in amongst all of that and all those races and all the practice rounds and everything, then they're wheeling out Brad Pitt in his, and they were in altered like actual racing cars.
Love that.
With cameras rigged up, everything. And they're fitting all of that in between. And then here they had that racing team had like a fiction, like its own pit stop and everything. They've really, it's kind of like what is real and what isn't real in this, in that film. But that's going to capture so much imagination. Then we obviously had Dune and Dune Part 2.
Huge films.
Mission Impossible. Tom Cruise is always here.
Tom Cruise running across that airport. And Abu Dhabi isn't the only place that does this. I think we should make this really clear.
Oh, yeah.
That this kind of program has been adopted by many countries. I mean, first of all, in Hollywood, in the kind of like post-war era of like that Hollywood Technicolor boom, a lot of that was subsidized as well, and this aim to create an Americana vision and that they could, you know, export globally. And now we have lots of other countries, you know, jumping off the back of it. I saw this rom-com You're going to love this. Called Resort to Love. It featured Christina Milian. I saw it on the Netflix. And I was like...
Extremely highbrow watching.
It was really highbrow watching. It was not... I can't believe I've actually just admitted to it.
I think you should be able to admit to watching your lowbrow.
Because I'm quite I love... My go-tos are generally like action thriller films. And every now and then, like a really soppy... terrible rom-com will slip through the net.
That's Sunday afternoon watching for me.
It must be my moon cycle. But anyway, it was like...
We also see it a lot in Canada. We see it an awful lot in the UK. The huge productions take place in the UK. My family's from Glasgow, and Glasgow's often used for like New York and Philadelphia because they're quite similar age buildings, and then Glasgow's also a grid system, which is quite unusual for British cities. So that kind of gets used for that. I love how you
say Glasgow, because you say everything with an R until you come to Glasgow.
Then my mum, and then Liverpool as well is often used for American cities. Yeah. Batman was Gotham.
Oh, really? Well, yeah, this Christina Milian film was supported.
Back to your favourite.
I was like... Yeah, all right, Farah. We're going to go off there.
So we were talking about Batman, but we did not even get into anywhere near enough about Resort to Love.
Resort to Love. No. Mauritius. So the whole film is like in Mauritius. And I'm watching this film and they're like, Mauritius. And I'm like, why are they mentioning Mauritius so much? Because the tourism board has paid for this film. Okay. That's why.
Good for, like, obviously I'm now going to go watch it, and then I'm going to go home to Eddie and I'm going to say, we're going to go to Mauritius for our honeymoon.
Yeah, you should go. Actually, to be fair, Christina Milian did make it look good.
We would be remiss to not discuss the effect that these films can have on a destination as well. Like, obviously, I think one of the very first films that were shot here was Star Wars, and it really did kind of change part of the conversation about Abu Dhabi as a destination as well. And now we are seeing it's being very much dubbed the White Lotus effect, the way that just taking a film, and even if the subject is very dark, and you can just go, oh yeah, I need to go to Hawaii immediately. I need to go to Sicily immediately. I need to be on Koh Samui immediately.
But these are all from White Lotus.
Yeah.
And it was because they have a joint project. It's a joint project. So even though it's fantastic writing, how do you get fantastic writing off the ground? You get fantastic writing off the ground by money. And to get money, you do things like have a deal with the Four Seasons.
So the thing that's very interesting about the White Lotus effect and Four Seasons. So for the first 2 seasons, Four Seasons had nothing to do with it publicly. They were politely distant. However, after the show's first season, Four Seasons Maui saw a 425% increase in traffic to its website.
Wow.
Which is wild. But the way that came about is Mike White, the creator of White Lotus, he was phoned pretty early on in the COVID pandemic by HBO, and they basically said, what ideas do you have that we can shoot in a bubble? And then he had a few. He had already tried to pitch a version of White Lotus previously, but it was just not picked up at the time. It was too high budget. It was just not feasible. And then they shopped around. They originally wanted to take it to Australia, but Australia wouldn't work because of visas for the production crew, because it was a 6-week maximum. And so they took it out of Australia, and then it was easier to stay in North America. So they went to Hawaii.
Wow.
And the Four Seasons was the only hotel that would give them just full book out, which is wild to me because it was COVID. Like, this is a great deal, Four Seasons. I can't believe any other hotel said no to this. But they said, Four Seasons said yes without seeing a script and without a full pilot. So they didn't know what was going to be shot there. And I mean, it is quite dark about tourism. But my goodness, the effect is incredible. And that has now got off the road.
You've got to take a risk.
Yeah.
You've got to take a risk. And the Four Seasons did it during COVID.
And they've come out okay. I mean, Four Seasons was never going to be the underdog here, but they've come out all right.
And there's also, like, it's not just about the Four Seasons benefiting from this, but filming in these remote locations does have an impact.
A huge impact on tourism.
But also on local populations like Thailand. Like, the amount of people needed to shoot television is wild.
So since so they're for like local industry, and then for the long-lasting tourism effect, Koh Samui has already seen a 44% increase in hotel bookings, and White Lotus wrapped less than a month ago.
Wow. My sister-in-law, she works in the movies. She's a makeup artist.
Oh.
And she had the wild job of just doing Chris Pratt's arms for like one of his films. I was like, what are you working on? She was like, Chris Pratt's arms. It's like, is that all you're doing? She was like, yeah, that's all I'm doing.
I think that's the note to leave on, because I think we're all going to be thinking about that as a job.
As a job. That's
And
her
I'm gonna
actual
I'm going to
job.
be thinking about what brought me to this seat.
What do we? You all sat there, and she's just working on Chris Pratt's arms, but not now. She's not doing that at the moment. She's been watching some Wes Anderson recently. It's very exciting.
Would you like to give me a recommendation?
I'll go first. Okay, so it's the 4th edition of Arab Cinema Week 2025. It is at our favourite place, Cinema Akil on Al Sakal, from May the 2nd to May the 11th. You can book your tickets already for lots of different films of like all based in the region in Arabic. I think they all have subtitles.
Yeah, they should do
yeah, I think they do always have subtitles. But there are some fantastic films coming up. My memory is full of ghosts, Aisha, Remember Us, and a film on Sudan. It's super diverse like list. Really interesting to gather all of that things in one space, which Al Sakal and Akil do so well. I just love that cinema, and it is a drive for me because it's at the other end of Dubai from Abu Dhabi, but I still make an effort to go, and it's just really relaxed. And I just feel like if you're like new to the country, or even if you're not new, you just go there and you will make friends or meet people or just have a lassi. Have a lassi there. It's delicious.
You know that I know that it's actually been a little while since you brought Crank up. So I feel like a perfect day for you would be go to a Crank class, then go to one of the Al Sakal Avenue markets. There's usually people selling Palestinian food and drink and products along one of the main avenues. And then you hit up Cinema Akil in the evening.
That's it.
I met a couple of perfumers yesterday that have a studio down in Al Sakal that I've not been to before, and I'm going to go this week. I'll probably talk about that next week.
You're such a Dubai girl. Look, it's just on your doorstep.
I would like to talk about my recommendation, please.
Yes.
There's a lot of people talking about my recommendation, but it is the new Louis Theroux documentary, The Settlers, which is a BBC Two documentary produced in the UK. This sees Louis return to the West Bank in the wake of following the October 7 attacks, and then also the war in Gaza, and kind of he meets with a lot of settlers and Palestinians that are in the West Bank, and he talks to them, and he has very calm conversations with people that are, I would say, quite hard to have a conversation with. But he has, it's an absolutely incredible piece of work. Everybody
is talking about this online and about his conversations with quite extremist characters.
One in particular is a woman called Daniela Weiss. She's a very outspoken kind of leader within the settler movement, and she's a pretty consistent thread within the documentary. She's in it a lot. She has quite open conversations with him. The things that she says she just says very openly that they are going to Gaza, that their intention is for settlers to be in Gaza. That is very much her point. Wow. And the language used is it's hard to watch.
Okay.
But it's so important. He does not only talk to settlers. Okay. He talks to Jewish campaigners for peace. He talks to Palestinians. Mm-hmm. He talks to a lot of Israelis that are not settlers, that are a lot more balanced. So there's a lot of criticism online that he's only spoken to very select people. He's not.
Okay. Watch it.
It's so I watched it on YouTube.
Okay. Yep. There we go, team. That's it. Anyway, that is it for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you liked this episode, or maybe if you didn't, if you just, fancy giving us another gander, please like and subscribe to us on YouTube and all podcasting apps.
And please be sure to follow at The National Arts on Instagram and catch new episodes of Culture Bites every Thursday. Bye.